But if her husband be dead, she is at liberty to be married to whom she will.
Read that again.
The wife is bound by the law as long as her husband liveth. But if her husband be dead, she is at liberty to be married to whom she will.
So the wife is bound by the husband as long as he live. But if he be dead, she can marry who she wants to marry. Now, this right here is talking about physical. This ain't talking about spiritual. Because there's a lot of women that's married to a man who's spiritually dead, right? But he's not physically dead. What this is talking about is if a sister is married to a man and that man dies, then and only then can she go and marry another husband. Is some more to that? You went to the YouTube then. It's all good.
I'm back at it all. She will be married to whom she will, only in the Lord. Verse 40. But she is happier if she do abide after my judgment. And I think also that I have the spirit of the power.
So this is talking about Paul, him being over the churches or whatever the case may be. In other words, let's say the generals that's over us now would be in the position that Paul was in over the schools or the churches that he had back then. He's saying that she'll be happier if she abide in the judgment of the men that serve up under Christ and over the Lord's people. So what she should do is seek counsel. Each individual case is different. What we do here is we give a broad statement. It says, for instance, like a sister is, bound to her husband as long as he lives. But what if he bashing her damn skull in every night? There's a difference. Now her safety is in jeopardy. It's just like Officer Shawar said. You have something called due benevolence that a man gives his wife and a woman gives her husband, meaning she owes him and he owes her their body, right? But let's say her husband is out sleeping with whores or putting her in danger, or he brings her a disease or vice versa. Then he no longer has to sleep with her. Then she no longer has to sleep with them, at least for a time, and they should get counsel on the situation. Everybody understand, right? All right, so and if this brother, when you say is committing adultery and he's putting her life in jeopardy, she should seek counsel. And the men that's over her husband should will tell her, that the right thing to do in that particular situation. But she can't just haul off and quit. You feel what I'm saying? She can't just say, oh, yeah, he slept with another man's wife. Now he's no longer my husband. And then she's going to go and marry another man? Nah, it don't work like that. You understand? All right. In the shop. All right, give me like 2 minutes. If you want to take questions, you can. If not, you can bring out something real quick. All right. Go ahead. Shout to Saratazar. If you're the second highest ranked man, you could go ahead. If you want to expound on the point or the reason you asked that for the class, you could do that, or whatever the case may be.
The reason I asked that question is somebody came up to me with that question. Shalom. Y'all seeing y'all shop block. Yo, man, Mario checking in. Hey, shalom, y'all, man. Shalom, everyone. Shalom, if I interrupted anything. Hey, you too out here. Put your phone on mute. Just put your phone on mute. So the reason I asked that question is just because somebody presented that question to me, so I just I basically told him the same thing, but I wanted to make sure that I was telling him the right thing. All right, that was cool. So I'm not sure what. Okay, so you got any more like? You got anything else you want to bring out on that? I don't want. That was it. That was the main question I have. That's it. All right. So let's go ahead and no.
All right, Salakia.
Go ahead.
Any other questions?
I don't want to.
All right, go ahead.
I don't know if you heard, but I heard about the 145 bodies that was found up under King High School, and I was trying to figure out if there any precepts on that.
What's King High School? Where is that at?
King High School is in Tampa, Florida, in Temple Terrace.
Okay. Basically, I heard about it, right? And when you say, is there any precepts on what? On the bodies being found or what?
Anything about it.
Okay. All right, give me a second. I'll give you some precepts on that. What I would like for one of the officers, the priest, to do. Hey, it's something going down in Duval, so y'all bear with me. We've been hearing sirens for about the past 15 minutes or so. So bear with me.
Oh, God.
But anyways, hold on one second. Just give me a second. Let me get you some precepts on it. In the meantime, one of the officers who's available, go ahead and grab me that story what the brothers are talking about. And I'm sitting over here as we speak, hoping World War III done started with all these damn sirens. Shh. Golly. Somebody done did so. All right. Any other questions? No other questions. All right, give me the story if anybody got it. You got it? Let me hear it.
145 unmarked graves found buried on Florida High School campus.
Everything all right?
Making the shocking find even more upsetting, it is believed the graves are part of Pauper's burial ground known as Ridgewood Cemetery that was used up until the 1950s and sold off despite it being the last resting place to hundreds of people from the local African American community.
From the who?
The local African American community.
From the who?
The local African American community.
Here's the thing, what you got to understand about what's going on, right? This right here, it don't take a exponential breakdown, right? Right now, we use the word the oppressor. We say things like the people we up under, the people we got to serve, and all of that. Regardless of all of that, right? what we know and what we've been teaching here since 1969 is the white man, woman, and child is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right. So once you understand that, meaning they don't, it says in Deuteronomy, it said they will have no respect for the young or neither on the old. You talk about how the police beat down, uh, this old lady and handcuff her and do all kind of stuff with her, like she gonna actually do something, or how they shoot Tamir Rice with a toy gun or something like that. When you start talking about it, you'll realize that this devil, this oppressor that we up under, he cares nothing about you. It don't matter whether you young, old, dead. General Yohana just brought out a week or so ago a quadruple amputee. The brother ain't got no legs and no arms, being abused by the police. So if this is going down, you got to ask yourself, what is the issue? Like, what can he possibly do to put that police officer in danger? He got no arms and no legs. It's ridiculous. Now we talking about them building, this is what I'm trying to tell you. They don't have or show no respect for anybody. Now I'll tell you this. You look up under majority of these so-called Catholic schools and all of that, you're going to find dead bodies. Now, whether they were there beforehand or they're going to be there, or they was there during the time that they was there where they killed these little kids and buried them up under the schools or whatever the case may be. Either way, it's the same thing, right? What you got to understand is we walking on the bones of the Native American Indians right now. All these streets and all these roads, you know how many dead slaves that we walk on every day and don't know it? They don't care about that, right? Give me Psalms 116 and 15 real quick. Psalms 116 and 15. Here's the thing. As far as, you know, what we should know about it is just know that they would never let their cemeteries and their ancestors be built on. You ain't gonna build no graves upon, you know, these white cemeteries or anything like that. It's not gonna happen. Majority of it is gonna be us. When I say us, I'm talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. That's whose graves get trampled on. That's who's dead get disrespected. Right? So go ahead and the Lord not necessarily care about that because he cares about your spirit, your soul. So once they dead, somebody give me the scripture where it says what happens to the soul after you die. Go ahead, Yama.
Psalms chapter 116, verse 15. Precious in the sight of the Most High is the death of his saints.
Y'all hear the brother? Okay.
What was the verse?
Go ahead and read it again, a little bit louder.
Psalms chapter 116, verse 15. Precious in the sight of the Most High is the death of his saints.
Precious in the sight of the Lord, not in the sight of the oppressor, not in the sight of the other nations, not even in the sight of our people. I remember it was a man I knew back in my childhood. Every time we ride past his mama grave, he cut the radio down. You know what I'm saying? We do little traditional stuff like that in order of representation for people that stood and gave ground and did things that came before us that might have taught us something in life, right? Out of respect for them. Well, what we do out of respect for our brothers and sisters that came before us is we talk about them. Paul's dead. David's dead. All of these men, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, so on and so forth, they all died, but they all did work that will make them last forever. They all did work that got documented in the scriptures that made sure that their legacy stand, right? These are the things that help somebody care about you after you're done. If you put on the spirit of Yahushua, then you'll live forever because the things that you do within this earth, it don't matter. Like right now, if somebody came and took my life and they trampled my bones and burnt me alive and all of this, it's hundreds of videos that's up of classes that we've been teaching right here in this same channel until the devil take them down. But that don't got nothing to do with the brothers who came in here and changed their lives and became greater men than I have, listening to the things that I taught, that greater men that I have taught me. You understand that, right, Mario? Nothing that you do within this earth is going to matter. They don't care. We talk about what's the Haitian dude? Yakai, what's his name? Who had the Haitian revolt? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sir. You're talking about Jean St. Paul?
Shiratazai, that's who you was gonna say?
Sir.
Who you was gonna say? I can't think of the brother's name.
Jean Baptiste.
Francois. Well, I don't think he's thinking about something start with an F. Anyway, the brother that had the Haitian revolt, we talk about him all the time and how that revolt was such a great thing because somebody finally stood up to the oppressor and actually got away with it, right? Do you think, I remember the dude from the 700 Club was sitting there talking about when the earthquakes happened in Haiti, it was because of those revolts. The devil looks at those things as terrible things in the sight of him, just like they do with Christ. The so-called white man that calls himself a Jew denies Christ. You know why? Because he was a black man from the tribe of Judah. He proves that he was a fake, a fraud, a phony. So they say things that come from Christianity out of like his mama being this, that, or the other, or him being fake in a fairy tale and all of this other stuff to try to discredit a black man from the tribe of Judah. Somebody get me the script if y'all ain't already got it of only what you do for the Lord is going to stand or matter. Somebody got that? It ain't Francois. What's that dude, man? Go ahead, sis. What is it? Tucson. That's it. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, we talk about this, brother. It's a great thing to us who are the descendants of slaves to talk about what this man did and the unrest that he brought through and how this particular uprising of the slaves was inspiration for other uprisings, for other brothers to fight for their freedom and all of this other stuff. At the end of the day, the devil looks at it like he don't care nothing about it. But what it said in Psalms, it says, surely the Most High, he cares about the death of his saints, meaning the people who stood up for justice and equal rights and for the slaves, for the people that he wanted to be on top, to be on top. That's why this work we do is so important, right? Because you can die, they're going to trample over your bones. Like right now, when they ransacked Jerusalem, all of the things that we had, from what it was told to me, they had some of the parts of some of the men in the Ark of the Covenant. They had some of these things like David's sepulcher. We knew where it was at one point until the heathens came in. Just like, think about these brothers that call themselves Egyptologists or whatever the case may be, right? They talk about all these bones. They got mummies and all this other stuff. They got them sitting in a museum. These are the Africans' ancestors. So if you think they'll do that to a so-called great civilization that they call, what about the goat herders? What about the sheep? What about the slaves? What about the people who built the pyramids on the bottom? What about the people who's on the bottom of America? They definitely don't care about they dead. They don't even care about you being alive. So why you think they'll care about your dead? The bottom line is we know that they are the descendants of slaves, and it says these are African American cemeteries. And you know what? Right now, when they got ready downtown in Jacksonville, when they got ready down there to build the stadium up and all of this other stuff, when the Jaguars was coming, it's people that's been staying down there, had houses and land since we were freed as slaves. They was forced to get off that damn land for them to build up what they need to build up. When it comes to the white man building his empire, he does not care about who's there, who died, who you know what I'm saying, the things that you consider to be valid. He don't care nothing about it. Even our scriptures, when they took them, they used them for the sake of empowering the slave masters and making sure that the slaves stayed inferior, as opposed to what they really supposed to be used to, our records and our documents stating what our ancestors did. So if you expecting something out of this devil, that he gonna care about building a school on top of your ancestors' bones, you don't know what really is going on. The reality is they never cared. They don't even care about us being alive. So I asked for a couple of precepts. Somebody, y'all just give them to me. Go ahead.
I have the one about when they die.
About what?
About the spirit of man when it dies.
Yeah, go ahead. Give me that one. The one I wanted, the one I wanted wasn't in Psalms. The one I wanted was in either Proverbs or Ecclesiastes. I think it's Ecclesiastes.
Like it, sir.
Yeah.
Like it, sir.
Go ahead.
I have Ecclesiastes. I was just gonna let the young man go first, sir.
What young man?
Like it, sir. That was young man Mario, wasn't it, sir?
No, that wasn't. That was Trooper Mashamar, I believe.
Like it, sir. I have it in Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, let me get the one in Ecclesiastes.
No, I can't, sir. Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 15. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment.
Nah, not that one. Not that.
No, I can't.
What I'm talking about is, it says, then the dirt, the earth, the body go back to the dirt where it came. It's something like that. Go ahead.
That's the one in Psalm chapter 104.
Nah, the one in Psalms chapter 104 is more so saying that he's replenishing the earth. Come on, y'all gonna make me go get it? I've been doing this for a little while, man. A little while. I know. Well, y'all tell me which way y'all got. I kind of have an idea. All right. The one I'm looking for, Salakia, is Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 7. Somebody give me that.
No, I can't, sir.
Go ahead.
Like it, sir.
Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it.
There it is right there. The thing about it is, there is no life in these bodies, right? These people are dead and gone. They might be back on the earth right now as we speaking. A lot of times we're taught in the Christian church and in black society that we need, General Muhammad was talking about it. You go in some people's house and maybe their son or their father or somebody that died, they got a whole mantle that's sitting there with his favorite hat and a big picture of him and, his shoes that he used to wear and the things that he used to do in an open Bible that they ain't doing nothing. I've seen this plenty of times. Anybody else ever seen this? A mama lose her son or somebody lose their mama and they got a big thing, a big picture of their mama that's sitting there or whatever. They got her favorite pearl she wore to church or something like that. It's all superstition. You seen that before, Raccoon?
No, I can't, sir. A homemade shrine to that person.
It's damn near a shrine that they'll create to that person. No different, you know what I'm saying? If somebody lose their child or whatever, they might have a picture of this, or they might sit it over here in the corner and nobody better not touch or move it. You better not move that Bible. You better not touch them sneakers or whatever they got. Is important to them, like that's their way of, or you go out to the cemetery. You know what I'm saying? People go out to the cemetery all the time. They put flowers on the grave, things like that, in order to pay homage to a person that lived about their life. And this is your way of dedicating or making sure that you remember them in their death, right? In the truth, it's a little bit different, right? If there's a person that served the Lord and did what the Lord said, then their work would be them. Their work would show you what they supposed to be, or it would still be in the earth. In other words, all of the men that came before me that was in this truth made a way for me to be in this truth and to change my life and to stop doing what I was doing and then say I'll never sell dope or never smoke weed or never, sleep with a whore, whatever the case may be. These are the things that helped me to get to where I am. So when you talk about these bodies, it's very, very disrespectful in our society because we pay homage to the dead, right? But in the truth, we pay homage to those men who came before us that did the work of the Lord. We pay homage to women that chose to serve the Lord over to serve their nation, to